Hello and welcome to 7 for 12 live after another fantastic day at Lord's. Today I'm flying solo. Well, I've got a little special guest, a family member coming in a little bit later on. But John Norman can't be with us. He's got to go back home from Lord's for a little family emergency. So we'll be back. John will be back with us tomorrow. But again, what an unbelievable day. Are England in a winning position? Hopefully, we'll try and dissect that. Just remember to like, subscribe, and review. Well, what a day at Lord's. What a day at Lord's. We're talking to John Norman a little bit earlier, and the atmosphere at the home of cricket was fantastic. Where do we start? Well, we start right at the very beginning. England were 27 runs ahead after what had happened in a one innings match. So it comes down to an innings game. India batting third innings, trying to move the game, and the pressure on the middle order is always huge for India because they're not firing at this moment in time. And it was in great sunshine. The pitch was flat. England needed something to happen. And after 4 overs, Joe Root decided to change the ball, and Ollie Robinson came out of the attack, probably to follow Jimmy Anderson. At the end, Jimmy was bowling out, and they brought in Mark Wood. And Mark Wood, boy, did he hit the ground running. 93 mile an hour, extreme pace, good hostility, and he hit the outside edge of Creagh Rahul's bat, something which England have found very, very difficult in these 2 test matches so far in the series. Rahul's batted absolutely brilliant, but the dismissal to get Creagh Rahul out and talking to on ESPN Cricket Info with VVS Laxman and trying to understand why he had to play at that delivery from Mark. And I keep saying to everybody, the slope at Lord's is a weird and wonderful thing, and it does drag you into playing things that you probably shouldn't have. And Mark, because of the angle that Mark Wood has, going back up towards up the slope towards the pavilion, in towards Creagh Rahul. Creagh Rahul will visually be thinking, I've got to play at this. I've got to play at this. And then when he looks at it afterwards, he's pushed it outside, sort of 4th stump. And it's just the optical illusion of batting at Lord's. And the more you bat there, obviously, the easier it becomes. But it was a fantastic dismissal and a good bit of bowling by Mark Wood and excellent captaincy by Joe Root. And then the captaincy a little bit, no, it's not the captaincy. It's not the bowling. This time it was the batsman. Rohit Sharma, what are you doing? I'm sorry. He will. I'm sure Rohit's gone back to the dressing room and he'll not want to see that dismissal again because Mark Wood again fired up, running in. He bowled a ball round about back of a length just before that, and he's pulled him for 6. Great shot, fantastic shot. Next bouncer was on the money, straight high. Rohit got in a good position and just pulled out the shot, and then the wicket. You look at Mark Wood's celebration there. Rohit Sharma's looking at the bottom of his bat. And it was a good catch by Moeen Ali in the deep. There was a little subtle change from a fielding point of view. Dom Sibley ran all the way from backward point out to square leg in front on the boundary. And he had to run past Rohit Sharma to get there. And I just don't understand why Rohit Sharma's got into that position where he's seen 3 fielders out in the deep. And what he thought was a good idea to hit a 90 mile an hour bouncer, which was directed a bit more leg side, which is harder control. And he's picked out Moeen Ali, who I thought had a fantastic day at the home of cricket. A great catch to get his confidence building. And we'll talk about that later when it comes to the bowling, because he was first class in that. And then Sam Curran with a beauty, with an absolute beauty. DRS again, captains realizing the captain's worth. Joe Root has gone with his bowler, and with I don't think Josh Buttler was too keen on the DRS decision to go for Sam Curran or Virat Kohli. It's a little bit high, but I think again, like Kohli to Root in the first innings, that you've got to take a risk on the DRS when it is the big gun player. And I think they went for it, but that ball was in mind of, from Virat's point of view, was the ball coming back to him. It was shaping back in, and Sam hasn't had one of his better days with the ball, but I thought today he was and not one of his better games. Sorry, but today I actually thought, you know what, he's bowled. He's had to think about what he's doing. His lengths were a little bit shorter. He wasn't easily driven. He wasn't hit both sides of the wicket, and I thought he bowled very, very well in this second innings. And he got the ball to swing, and it's a completely different game. If you've got a left armer that swings it, and then he's just nipped one away. So, we'll come on to that in a bit later with a celebration. And then it was the Pujara and Rahane show, and I think I nearly went to sleep for about an hour and a half in the middle of that session. Oh, from an Indians fan point of view, you want your 3, 4, 5 to get runs and put runs on the board, but you want them to put them on a little bit quicker, surely. I must admit, matchsticks in my eyes were like that. So I'm not sure what was worse, watching Pujara and Pant or watching Newcastle United against West Ham, where we got absolutely battered in the second half. So enough's about that one. Anyway, let's move on. He was Pujara, 100 balls, 12 runs, and he got a standing ovation by the Lord's crowd. A little bit of tongue-in-cheek, but when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, have the not scoring enough runs and the run rate slowing right down, has that dug India into a hole? Possibly, because the second new ball is due. Or are you happy, India fans, that you see your 3 and 4 getting, 3 and 5 getting runs on the board? Because in the last 18 months, 3, 4, 5 for India has been a real shocker. They're averaging 26, which is the second lowest behind the West Indies is 3, 4, 5. And that is not good enough for the players like Pujara, Rahane, and Virat Kohli. So the partnership was building, it was going. And I think the reason why they were so slow was because England were brilliant, absolutely brilliant. They stuck to their task. It didn't give any freebies. Disciplines was absolutely brilliant. The lines and lengths were good. The fielding was excellent in the ring. Diving around Johnny Bairstow, Dom Sibley, Rory Burns were diving around to make sure that because of the hard work the bowlers were putting in, the fielders were backing them up. So it was a great passage of play. And then Moeen Ali stepped up to the party. I think because of the way Jimmy Henderson had bowled and Mark Wood had bowled earlier in the day, Moeen didn't get a bowl till a little bit later on. But when he did get a bowl, I thought he was excellent. He held and controlled an end. And the ball he got Jadeja with was brilliant. And I've only got one question, and that's the England selectors. What are you doing not picking Moeen Ali for such a long time? Because England are a much better side with Moeen in it. And it's easy to say when he has a good day. But I think all round, if Moeen is in the England team, I think England are a lot stronger. And he showed his class today. A beauty by Jadeja to get rid of Jadeja, and for Mark Wood to get rid of Pujara. Somebody predicted that yesterday. I'm not sure who it was, but it was a fantastic spell by England, because even though Pujara and Rahane were going okay, they were not getting away from England, and you knew the minute that England got the breakthrough, the game was going fast forward, because the little crackerjack and Rishabh Pant was going to come out and start flailing the bat everywhere, and he did, and he's going to be big and key for England tomorrow morning. So, that's the state of the game, and that's where everything is at the minute. Mark Wood, Moeen Ali was absolutely fantastic. Helped no end by the rest of the bowling unit and the team. Joe Root is going to be immensely proud of his team there tonight. Decision to come off. A lot of talk about whether England should have come off. 8 overs to go. Spinners could bowl. Joe was bowling nicely. Moeen was bowling nicely. But I didn't have a problem. I think I probably would have come off an over earlier, because I didn't want Pant to get away. 150, just over 150 in lead. If Pant hits Moeen for 18 and an over, and all of a sudden that little bit of advantage, the lead just goes, and the confidence that comes out the next morning. So I think it was right to go off. You couldn't have the new ball. You couldn't have your fast bowlers. Let's come back tomorrow when the sun's out and see if England can knock over Rishabh Pant, or is Rishabh Pant the man, the key that's going to get India to a score of around 225, 230, which would potentially make this game very, very even, Stephen, on the last day. On a fifth-day pitch, which is wearing a little bit, but no real demons in it. So for me, that was the story of what the day has been. Here's my moment of the day. Well, my moment of the day is my little left armer. He is an absolute beauty. He was off on his Imran Tahir impression around the ground when he got Virat Kohli out. What a ball it was. As mentioned earlier, the nice little setup, just pushed it across the Indian captain. The Indian captain is just searching for a bit of form. and he's trying to sort of smother any swing and bounce. And Sam Curran just got one to nip away, gone off on a celebration. I've got loads of time for Sam Curran. I want him to succeed at Test match level because he brings so much to the party. And today, he will remember getting Virat Kohli out at the home of cricket for a number of years to come. So, moment of the day, Sam Curran. Right. This is a bit of a difference. We're going to have some questions now, and keep liking, subscribing, and keep sending your reviews in, because me and John will try and answer every single question that you throw at us. But we've got a bit of a difference today because John's not with us. He's left Lords. He's gone home. So I've coerced a family member to get involved. So my daughter, Abby, is in the kitchen, and she's going to join us and ask some of your questions that you've left already, and more of that if they're to come in. Hi, Abby. What's the first question from our YouTube guest tonight?
The first question we have, Dad, is from G. Paul, and he is asking, Bumrah bowled 13 out of the 17 no balls in this innings. What do you say on that as a former fast bowler view?
I thought Jasprit Bumrah looked a bit short of a gallop, and what I mean is short of a gallop. When you get a racehorse ready for the big race, if he's not quite ready, and you just needs a few more overs under his belt to get him going for the World Test Championship. But he bowled beautifully at Trent Bridge, so I can't put my finger on the difference. The only thing I can think of is the slope. He bowled a lot from either end, and there is, if you haven't done it for a prolonged period of time, then you do get a bit sort of, and he is hop, skip, and jump anyway. You do get a little bit anxious when you run into the crease, because if you're bowling from the nursery end, you feel as though you're never going to get to the crease. If you're running from the pavilion end, you feel as though you need to hold back, rein it in. You need to just slow down a bit because you're going slightly downhill. And I just wonder if bowling from contrasting ends and being frustrated, Jasprit Bumrah was very, very frustrated. Things weren't going for him. He didn't have a wicket. He was going hard at Jimmy Anderson when he bowled 4 in that one over. I just think, his timings were a little bit off, and it wasn't Jasprit Bumrah's day, but I'm sure he'll come back and he'll come good tomorrow. Yeah.
I think we've got some more questions for you. This one is from Samarth Joshi off YouTube, and it is, do you think Ravi Ashwin will be missed by India tomorrow?
I think they've been, not just tomorrow, Samarth, I think they've been missed, full stop. I think he's been missed in the first Test match. I think he's definitely been missed in this Test match from the balance of the side and the batting point of view. And I think we've had a sample size of Moeen Ali in the latter part of day 4 that Ravi Chandra Ashwin would have been a real asset for India tomorrow. He's not there. I think he'd be playing in Leeds. I definitely think he'd be playing at the Oval, and he will play at Manchester because them two grounds will spin. But the question would be to the Indian selectors, on which seamer do they leave out? Because Suraj has been brilliant. Shami has been very, very good. And Ishant Sharma looks as though he's got better as this Test match goes on. So in this 4th innings tomorrow, Ashwin, yes, he might be missed. He's going to come back. But you've got 4 seamers chomping at the bit, not to be wanting to be left out if in India decide to make the change back to 3 seamers and 2 spinners.
Well, you've been right on all your predictions up to now. Let's see if we've got any more questions. Arya asks, what do you make of the ball tampering accusation from today?
I'm not sure there was much in it, to be honest, Arya. I think that what you've seen is a still picture of a foot. I can't remember whose foot it was on the ball, on top of the ball. But I think because of the way the ICC look at things, the way the match referee and the umpires look at things, I think there would have been something made of it there and then. Technology now, the way the umpires talk to each other and the guys in the sky or in the pavilion, I think there would have been a lot more made. And if there was anything untoward, a little bit like we see with the no balls now being taken out of the umpire's hands and the third umpire, the match official that's off the field. If there was something untoward had happened, that ball would have been changed, guaranteed. So for me, I don't think there was much in it. I think the ball's gone. He's put his foot down and he stopped it. The still picture looks a hell of a lot worse than possibly what happened actually in real life and in real time. But I know for a fact that if something was wrong, the third umpire would have got onto the officials and said, right, there is an allegation. It doesn't look great. Change the ball, and we'll deal with it at the end of the day's play. And at the minute, I don't think any of that's going to happen.
Yeah, right. One other question is from Tommy, and he asks, "Hi Harmy from YouTube. Do you think Mark Wood should get the new ball more?"
I actually do, Tommy. I do. I think Mark Wood in this game would have been more suited to the new ball than Robinson. I think the way England's attack is, I think it would be better for Anderson to have his long spell, a short spell by Wood with the new ball, a burst from Robinson, who can bowl a longer spell coming on after Wood, and then you've got Mark Wood coming on straight after Jimmy Anderson's 8 or 9 overs that he tends to do first up. So especially against Rohit Sharma and against KL Rahul. And why I say that is they're not great foot movers first up. They do get stagnated on the crease, play away from their body. And if you can get the ball around about sort of between 90 and 95 mile an hour that Mark Wood can, in and around the top of the stumps, then I think you can create some uncertainty, a little bit like what happened with KL Rahul in the third innings of this match. So yes, I'd like to see Mark get it in English conditions. In overseas conditions, when it's not as conducive and the ball doesn't last as long, I think you want your two bowlers that will maximise challenging the outside edge, which will be Robinson or Broad and Anderson further down the line. But definitely in England, I think against the two Indian opening batsmen, and let Mark Wood rip.
Right, one last question for you. This one again come off YouTube is from Arslan. And it is, how should Dom Sibley and Joss approach their innings tomorrow?
Well, two contrasting ways of playing, them two. Dom Sibley is out of the Pujara and Rahane mould, and Butler's not quite as forthright with his stroke making as Rishabh Pant, even though he could be. It's going to be interesting to see how many England get. If England have to get, the one thing I will say here, though, and I'm pleased you brought Jos Buttler up. I think this situation would suit Jos Buttler because we turn into a more of a one-day game, and I think England's batsmen, especially the middle order players, they're used to having clarity of situation, and what I mean by that is they know how many runs they need to score, of how many overs are left in the day. And if England feel as though they can go and get it and win the test match, they've got the right mentality to go and do it. And it's not just Jos. I'm thinking of 5, Johnny Bairstow, 6, Jos Buttler, 7, Moeen Ali, 8, Sam Curran. I think England have got a batting order there. If the chase is on and they need to go for it, they can go for it and let Dom Sibley, Rory Burns, Hasim Hamid just bat the way they naturally have to bat. India, again, it is one wicket game for India. If India can get rid of Joe Root early, they'll fancy their chances. If England have to chase 200 and Joe bats for more than 20, 25 overs, I'm afraid there's only one winner, and that is England.
Yeah. Thanks for your questions. That's all we've got. Hopefully John will be back with some more tomorrow.
Thanks, Abby.
You're welcome.
Well, let's go for my prediction for tomorrow, because it's been very, very good in the last few days, I have to say. And I think England will win. I really do. I think England have worked so hard to get themselves into this position. And I only see one winner. I think the new ball will be key and crucial. If Rishabh Pant gets off, and he'll see it as a way to score. But I think if England can get enough balls at the bowlers of India, I can only see England knocking them over for under 200. And on this surface, 200, I don't think is a massive score. Like I said in the questions, I think England's clarity players in the middle order that are suited to play white ball cricket and one-day cricket, I think they'll come to the fore. So for me, I think England will win, and I think they'll win by five or six wickets. So fingers crossed for that to happen. So there we are. That's the end of the show. First live, 7 for 12 live on my own with a little help from Abby. John Norman will be back tomorrow, like everybody else, for a fantastic end to what's been a thrilling test match. Just remember to like, subscribe, and leave a review. Thanks for watching.